Hey, it's your boy Jake Schmalz, and you're tuned in to the Encouragers Podcast Show.
What's up, Jake?
Yo,
What's up, Jake?
what up, man? How you doing?
Oh, nothing much. How are you?
I'm good, dude. You have no idea how excited I am to see you guys.
What up, Jake?
What up, Tech? How you doing, man?
Where you at? You still in North Carolina?
Yeah, man. I'm still over here. Hey, can you guys hear the music, or is it any background noise, or does it sound good?
Sounds good, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sounds good.
Got a little bit of
Karate music in the background?
Oh,
got a little reggae going.
nice. I see your cup there, your kava cup.
Yeah, courtesy. You'll see. Hold on. Courtesy of Jake
Oh,
Longy right there. Jake hooked it up.
that is nice.
Man.
Nice.
Of
Shout out to
course.
Jake.
Yeah, shout out to Jake, who hopefully you get him on the show sometime soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
I'm sure he'd be down. Every time I go out to Austin to see one of my sisters, my older sister lives out there.
Okay.
I go mix with him. So I see her a couple times a year. And I always get together and mix with him. He's got a couple people he mixes with out there, but it's always good to link up.
Dang, that's nice. Right on, man. We're about to be in Texas soon here, me and Tech.
Where you guys going?
San Antonio.
Oh, you gonna go see Toma?
Yep, we're gonna go. Have you seen that guy? Have you seen that guy since? Have you been out there, seen him?
No, we tried to organize it a couple times because I've been out to Texas probably 3 or 4 times since he's been there, but he is missing in action. So I guess Jake finally got a mix or two in with him. But it's a little bit of a drive out there. It's not close.
Really?
So yeah, I mean it's I think it's an hour and a half away, from kind of where we are. So that's always tough mixing and family responsibilities and all that stuff. I think it's a little closer to Jake than when my sister is, because I'm about 45 minutes from where Jake lives when I go see my sister.
Oh, okay. Right on. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're excited to go. It's be a little trip for me and Tech. But yeah, man, how you been, brother?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm blessed. I can't complain. I've been working hard for a lot of years and recently got promoted. It's been a lot of hard work to get there, and I really have an awesome position right now. So I'm pretty stoked, and it's going to let me hopefully travel a little bit more and get to see you guys instead of creeping on your social media and following you guys that way.
Hey, it's okay, dude. Don't creep. There's some people that still creeping.
Hey, you're like, oh, Jake liked my post again and all of my other posts.
So where are you working at now, Jake?
Oh yeah, are we recording already? I don't know if I can say it. I don't know if I can say it on air because they're picky about this kind of stuff. But let's just say a big cell phone company. I'm an account manager for them, and so what that means is there's there's indirect stores and there's corporate stores, right? An indirect store, you could go in and upgrade your phone and do all that kind of stuff. So I support the indirect stores. I have 35 that I support across coastal North and South Carolina. And if a business customer, so you have a consumer account and you have a business account, so you can put your phone lines all on underneath like a tax ID. Kind of, Tonga has a tax ID for his business, right? But he could put his phones underneath that business, and then that whole thing is a write-off for you. So anyways, if a business customer walks in, it looks different. It's a different point of sale system. It's a different way that they process it. So they call me if they need help. And, so that's kind of my biggest thing is, they're calling in to help process a transaction, or they have somebody walk in and say, hey, I need 7 tablets or I need 30, so I'm there to help support that and help them know, we have over 400, probably 500 plans, prior that have changed over the years. So I help them pick the right plan and, do all that kind of stuff. And in addition to that, I'm pretty new to the role, so there's a lot more that I'm going to be having to do. But I liaise with other account managers. So I'm just the business side, but we also have an account manager. I have 6 account managers that support consumer and business, and I just help them on the business side of things. So I work with them. I work with training for new reps as well. I work with the leaders to try and get contact. Yeah, I had to do a presentation for like 200 people it was all virtual, it was all online, but I had to do a presentation on some stuff. So, just definitely putting me out of my comfort zone. Although, doing what we did, knocking doors back in the day, all that was harder.
Tell me about it.
That was much harder than what I'm doing now. So whenever I'm not really nervous often, but whenever I am, I think about that. That gives me strength to be glad I'm not doing that, but also able to pull from that experience.
Right on. Dang, that's amazing, man. Congrats on all that. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Have you seen that COVID has affected your industry? Has that played a big, huge impact on you guys?
Well, so I'm typically with that job, I'm traveling, 4 out of 5 days in the week with like overnight. Some parts of my territory are pretty far away. So the Charleston, South Carolina is about 6 hours away. So to get down there and have, I'll be staying overnights in hotels. So right now we're grounded till at least September. So I haven't even been to any of my stores that I'm supporting yet. So since I just started 2 months ago, we were already, amongst COVID. So we didn't have a chance to, to really get out there. So basically from phone, been doing everything from Zoom, from WebEx. There's different video chatting options that you have out there, but it's all been virtual and support on the phone so far. But yeah.
That's what's up, man. When we were in college, just to give a brief background of who Jake is to us, when we were in college during our college years, we had a small knit group of individuals who rode with us from the beginning to the end. And we had only a few Palangi cats that were in our circle, Faikava circle and friendship circle to be more exact. And come to think, we only had like really 2 solid Palangi individuals in our circle. And the one we used to, that would have our backs when we would, come up to a situation where we have to deal with cops or authorities. This guy that's on with us right now would use his powers and superpowers to get us out of the bind and onto the mix. And just, for everyone that's listening, we have a special guest today, the original Palangi cat on our show with us tonight. Coming to us by way of Foxborough, Massachusetts, the home of the deflatable footballs. By way of North Carolina, let's give it up to Paul's ukulele master instructor and Joe's arch nemesis, Jake Schmalz, baby. Give a big round of applause for Jake Schmalz to welcome him to the show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Jake is our brother, man. I first met Jake.
Glad to be here.
I first met Jake in Rexburg, man. This gentleman by the name of Ossie brought me and Coach Will one day to Rexburg, and we had the blessing to meet up with Jake and Fen. Fenny was your roommate, right? Fenny?
Big Fensta. Shout out to Fenny.
Shout out to Fensta if you're listening. But yeah, man, that's the first time I met Jake out in Rexburg, Idaho, man. Oh yeah,
I remember that. It was you. Yeah, you and Will came up at the same time. That's when he was at Dixie, huh?
Yeah, we were down.
Both of you were at.
Oh yeah, Dixie State, huh? Dixie State Rebels, man, down there. But yeah,
dude, that was so much fun when you guys came up. When I met you, it was like man. So what first drew me into mixing, because I've been mixing, I don't know, for I think maybe a year or so by the time I had met you guys.
Yeah.
What first drew me in was the music, and you were about the music. That's what, you just, especially when, we'd be back off a little bit and then you just start jamming, man. I loved it. So first thing that drew me in was the music, and then the brotherhood is really what took over after that. But
yeah, man. I just remember meeting you and just seeing how cool you were, man. You were so cool and down to earth, and straight up offered up your home to us, complete strangers coming up, you know. But yeah, man, it was all good, dude. Ever since that day, man, everyone's just been friends, dude. It's pretty cool.
how many years ago is that now?
Man, I don't know. What was it? 2006 or something? No.
18.
Oh, was
17.
it?
Well,
Yeah.
I got to school in 2002. I got to school up there. I met the boys in 2003. And then, so it had to be 2003, somewhere in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
When were you at Dixie?
Man, I was in Dixie, man, I can't, 2006 maybe? I don't know.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was a couple of years in. But yeah, sometime after that too, I met Tech, or somewhere in around that time I met Tech too. And so, because we would make those long trips down to Utah to go buy bags, you know, buy kava bags.
What?
Yeah. It'd be a 3-hour trip. We go to Ogden and we go buy from, I think was it, I can't remember where we buy from now. It's so long, but it would be in Ogden somewhere. And sometimes we get trapped and we go mix for a few hours and then head back. But we mix in the car on the way back up. So those were all fun
Are you
times,
kidding me? You guys would mix in the car on your way back up?
Oh yeah.
Y'all were some diehards, dude. Holy cow.
So don't act like you've never done it before.
Jake Schmalz, what's up, baby?
Will, what's up, man? What's up, my dude?
What's happening, boy?
Hey, man. How is everything?
Oh, just living that Utah life, man.
Yeah. Still light out over there. Jeez.
No, man. Been raining.
Yeah.
Oh, was it raining there too? It was hailing over here in Reno.
Yeah. It was thunderstorming out here, raining. But it looks like it's calmed down a little bit.
Hey, man. What's up with that? Can we get one of those hoodies too?
I know, it looks good.
Oh, bro. Notis.
What?
I got you, Toko.
Man, that's clean.
Send me your size, bro. I got you. Jake, send me your size. I got y'all, bro.
Definitely. Looks good, man. So, Will, how you doing, man? I haven't talked with you for a minute now, man. How is everything? Although, like I was telling these other guys, I creep on everybody on social media, be following and liking all your stuff, and it's good to see you guys being so successful and driving, and it's motivational, and I love it.
Yeah, it's been great, man. I should have got married a long time ago. Living that married life, got a strong woman, Tongan woman behind my back, and we got a little man that's in our household now, so it completes our home. I ain't got to walk around looking over my shoulder here in Utah. I think everybody's pretty calm and collective out here in the States. So, and then I met some really good people out here in the state too, man. Some people I can see myself being friends with for a long time. But other than that, life's been as long as I got these two tokos with me, bro, life's good.
Man.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's been a minute, Jake. We were just talking about the first time me and Coach went up there. Remember that, Ati?
And
from St. George.
when we went up to Rexburg.
Yeah, Rexburg.
Excuse me. Oh man.
Fun times, bro. That was fun.
What was it? Was the first time you came up? Were we at that Pinnacle building, or was it or were we in the apartment what was that apartment complex called?
It was still at the apartment.
Can't even remember, but that was the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, was that the apartment? I remember one of the times you guys came, there was crazy amount of people. It was when we started selling for I was selling for Pinnacle, and we got the keys in there, and we we had the mix in there, and tons of people came up to visit too. It was wild, man. Those days, big old mixes.
Good times, bro. Good times.
Man, I remember I never got a break from following the kava. Those times that people came up, we'd be done in one round. There'd be so many people in that circle, and then they would be done. 5 gallons gone in like 2 rounds. So
it's crazy, man.
Strong hand.
Hey, I was wondering, how did you link up with Ossie and Fen? Like, how did you meet them? What was the story behind that?
The original story. So, you guys remember Big Jimbo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Jim? So, and he's a Palangi guy. For those of you that wouldn't know, to catch everybody up, but he was roommates with Maake, and Maake brought him around. So I think they just by chance they had ended up being roommates, but they lived in the same same little I believe it was the same apartment, it's just like one apartment over from where Ossie lived. And so Maake introduced Jim to the boys, and then introduced him to mixing, and so he knew him from there. And then Jim left, stopped being roommates. Maake got married, and so Jim ended up being my roommate later on. And then just one of the times, there was a bunch of us, Jim brought me through to one of the mixes, and he's like, why don't you come on over? I didn't know anything about Polynesians. The only thing I really knew was, we had some Samoans that they did they performed with fire. And so they did that, in Massachusetts. But there was one Samoan family that I had known my whole life. So came over to school, of course, and introduced me, and and then, there's this bowl in the middle, and all these huge Polynesian guys that are circling on. Some of them, it was so packed that there was, one sitting on the counters, there was one sitting on the table. Everybody was in a circle going around, and that really was my first experience. But it was, everybody was kind of clowning on each other and telling stories. And I noticed, that there were, typically it was only one conversation at a time, and then everybody would stop and clap, and I was like, what is going on here? Of course, that we had the coconut shells, and then they would pass them around, and everybody would drink. And so, and Jim had prepped me a little bit, just saying it's a little ceremonial thing that they do. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll check it out. And then everybody would stop and sing. And so, again, that was kind of the first thing I noticed was, just loved how the music sounded, and everybody was harmonizing, and it would just kind of drew me in because I love music, and that was a big thing there. And then it kind of grew from there. So that first night Jim brought me over, I think he was trying to trap me too, but
oh, he was.
This is me not knowing anything, and of course, so we'd be finishing, we mixed into the later hours, and then they'd ask, does anyone want to keep going? And then everybody's like, oh, it's up to you. It's up to you. How it goes. And I was just trying to be respectful, and I didn't want to say no. So, of course, I was just, buying right into the game right there of the never-ending, one more inch. But so I kept saying that too. And so ultimately, Jim left, and it was just me and I think Maake, Ossie, Fenny, and maybe Jerry. There was a couple of us left, and I think that first night we ended up going until 9:30 in the morning. And my first experience, just barely knowing these guys, they're like, no, you can stay. After Jim had left, they're like, we'll take you home if you want to stay. And my whole thing in my mind too is like, I don't want to be disrespectful. These guys are being so nice to me. I don't want to stop it if they want to keep going. So we ended up going, all the way till 9, and they took me out to breakfast. And that was my first experience meeting the boys and being introduced to kava and, the hospitality and friendship. And I definitely got clowned on that first night too, but I didn't really understand the dynamic of all that stuff going on. But it was, it was a good, fun experience. And it was, to the wee hours of the morning, and then all the way into breakfast time.
Man, yeah. That sounds like entrapment to me.
Sounds like Rexburg.
Yep, that does. And ever since then, man, just had, great friendships from over the years, man.
Well, right. There's something about, staying up all night and, you talking stories, and you get to know people on a different level. You can share some stories. We joke about it, some heart to hearts though. And, over the years you end up being there for your brothers and for your closest friends. And there's all sorts of things that, when you have, great times, and then you have sorrowful times, and, are able to be there for each other and grow that friendship. And, I think, in today's society, there's not a lot out there for grown men to kind of talk to each other. And kava is one of those things where, you bring people together through friendship, and you can, you can learn things and say things, in a somewhat of a safe zone, and connect on a different level where you couldn't in any other way. It's just, at least in another way that I'd never discovered, coming from just my Palangi side. We don't have a whole lot of culture. I'm many generations removed from any of my culture. I'm a mix of many different ethnicities, and so it's kind of, just really cool to find that in this, just from this perspective of not having a whole lot of culture, and then going in and finding this culture was pretty amazing to me. And I was able to connect with, and start friendships on a whole different level I'd never seen before.
Yeah, man. That's well put, man. Well said, brother. But yeah.
What do you remember about the first time you met me? What do you remember? You and Will? Or does that need to be redacted?
Man, I want to say we have this thing on the Encourage show we call the archives. We call the archives. We're going to have to leave that one for the archives.
Oh, boy. Oh, gosh.
That one's going to be for the archives, man. But no, man, I just remember you could, like, you hecka drink kava, dude. Oh, man. I was like, who is this? How long you got right here?
I didn't know any better.
Sheesh, and you still can. Yeah. And as we look at Jake taking a sip of his kava. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Not quite as often anymore. Maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks now. It's not quite as often as we used to do back in the day.
Yeah, for real, I bet.
Hey, once a week or once a couple weeks, or it's a totally different than every single day, bro.
For sure.
Completely different. Man, I swear we were like training for a marathon when we were back in the college days.
Training for something.
Yeah, seriously. But it's crazy because, we all kind of like developed this friendship around the Kava Bowl, man, if you think about it. Met Paul.
Definitely.
Paul and Joe around the Kava Circle, you, Aussie, several other people.
Will.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is literally crazy, all the connections and the people that I've met through, around Kava. Like amazing, that it's just an amazing thing that it brings, people that you guys know of too. And, I was able to kind of connect with Jake that way, Jake Langi, and then there's people through Utah, and then the connection that we have down in Arizona, with Will and Big Paul, and was a Big Rich, back in those days. That's where I met Brett for the first time. Your homie Brett.
Yeah, Brett. Yeah.
My homie Brett too. Yeah. How's he doing?
Oh, Brett's good, man. He's in Vegas. Okay. Still knocking, man. Him and Paulo, I think, are the only two dudes out of the whole crew that, kept knocking doors or whatever, doing security.
That's amazing. He got really good at that. So I was able to keep that skill set and that mental strength.
Yeah, he did well. He does well for himself with that, man. It's crazy.
Does he own his own company?
I'm not. No, I don't think so. I don't think Brett does, but I think he's working for some other dudes or contracting or something. But yeah, he's in Vegas, man. He's in Vegas. He's doing well for himself. But yeah, man. Shoot, it's been crazy. But this whole COVID thing got the whole world shook up right now.
Yeah,
Especially,
definitely.
especially with the what all else is going on. It's crazy, man.
It's crazy to think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
It's just crazy to think how the dynamic has shifted recently, you know, because of all the tough times that we've been through COVID and everybody trying to see this and figure it out and what's safe and what's not, you know, and how do we keep people healthy and how do we stop spreading it to, you know, we found out that our elderly are most at risk, but we don't want to spread it to them too. And then it's transitioned into this, you know, this crazy time of, you know, all the change that we're going through with the rioting going on and everything. And, you know, it's like people forgot about social distancing. The riots kind of took place there. So, you know, all important causes that, you know, there's reasons for, you know, why it's happening, but it's crazy how fast that narrative switched on us there.
Yeah, huge dynamic contrast from March till now. Jeez.
March where we were scared to even go outside.
Until now. But yeah, it is crazy, man. Just to think about all of it. I seen a meme that said that we're on the level 6 of Jumanji right now.
No doubt.
Jeez.
That's accurate.
Yeah, man. How's North Carolina, man? How's North Carolina doing? You like that place? Is it nice out there?
Yeah, so I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. So we're right on the coast. I'm about 10 minutes from the beach. And so, you know, we're somewhat isolated from a lot of the craziness. We had less than 100 cases of COVID in our town. It's about 100,000 people. So, you know, we're smaller. We're not tiny, but, you know, we're smaller. So, you know, I think the scientists are still trying to figure out how it spreads and how weather affects the spreading and how a healthy population also affects it. And there's a lot of different things we're still trying to figure out. But mostly we've been, you know, although we are, you know, there's still things closed. You know, restaurants are open to 50% capacity, but gyms are still closed. Bars are all closed too, as well. So, you know, there's different things. Why I bring that up too, that's my, you know, my side job. I bounce at a bar downtown for the past 3 years or so. That's my side gig. So my side hustle's down right now, working while I can. But yeah, so we have been mostly insulated, other than, you know, I know there's, you know, a lot of the small businesses are struggling out here because they, you know, they're not making money right now. The money hasn't been fast by any means coming from the government to get the, you know, get the loans, you know, to be able to pay your employees and all those things. And, you know, and I see it on, you know, in my job side of things, where in a lot of the different stores I support, you know, employees have been laid off or, you know, furloughed. So which means they're, you know, no pay. They get to keep their job, but for now they don't get paid and they can't come to work, you know, so there's just different things. But again, mostly from anything like the rioting and that type of thing. We had some marches downtown, but thankfully we didn't have any destruction. And, you know,
oh, that's good.
Mostly been insulated from the big things going on around the country. Yeah. Where are you at now? Where do you live? Notice.
I'm in Reno, brother. I'm in Reno, back in the hometown. Just I use this is my base right now, and I'm just going back and forth, man. You know, going up to New York, try to get some video and editing work up there. But yeah, man. What you want, Grizzly? My little dog over here is
Oh, since you guys mentioned it on the pod.
Hold up, Jake. You're breaking up.
I'll have to show Joe. There's specs right there. You can
you say that one more time, Jake? You were breaking up a little.
That picture right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I know Joe brought it up on the podcast a couple episodes ago. So there's the little guy right there. He's almost 14.
Oh my
He'll be
gosh.
14 in 2 weeks. Yeah, so you remember him running around and getting outside and
Oh
what
yeah.
was that in when we were in North Dakota?
Oh my.
How many adventures we been on, bro?
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Do you still have your Jeep?
No. The that one, no. I sold that one in 2009, something like that. I had to get something with good gas mileage. I have another Jeep now, though. Thankfully, been blessed. Yeah, I got a Wrangler, and
Nice.
so I've had that for about 3-4 years now. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
I didn't have to drive as much, so I was able to get myself one. Put some big old tires on it like I did on that one.
That was a G-Ride, man. That was a monster truck, bro.
Woo!
It could mob, man. That thing's taking you all over the country.
That thing. 1,000 miles on it, and the suspension was like permanently bent to the side. For multiple reasons, mostly all the off-roading I did. But
Man, that's funny.
Yeah.
Did you get the link?
He was a champ, man. Held in for a long time.
My phone's gonna die here. I got like 1% left, so I'm gonna go get my iPad and link back in again.
Right on.
I know Tech is out in the. You're out in the boonies a little bit, aren't you?
No, I'm Salt Lake or in Layton.
Okay, you just go out in the boonies. You're out in the mountains.
Yeah, I hunt now, so I'm always out in the mountains scouting and looking for deer.
I'd like to at some point. Mostly here, you have to. There's a lot of private land hunting here, and the public land is not so good to hunt on. It's crowded. So at some point, I'd like to. It's about the help you can get these days is go out and get an elk or and throw it in your freezer. So I'd like to get there at some point. Maybe soon I'll come out with you. We'll go hunting. How often you get out?
Hunting season starts in August, so I'm gonna start going out, do some scouting, practice shooting my bow, get it all sighted in, get ready for the hunt August 15th. Yeah, bow hunt.
That's harder.
Yeah, I like it though.
How's your stalking skills?
It's not good, man.
You sure about that? I mean, you have years of practice.
So Techie. Techie, call them in too. You got the elk.
Yeah.
The elk. What do you call them?
Like the call?
So you can call them in. You know how to do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
I haven't got an elk, but just deer so far. Elk's a little bit harder because you got to go where no one else wants to go.
I can imagine too. Are they further into the wilderness? Is it a longer trek?
Yeah, further up too, higher up in the mountains.
And then if it's just you, how are you gonna?
Yeah.
Elk are bigger, so
yeah.
Trying to get
hiking it out of there. You're gonna have to make a couple trips.
Right. So you got to be 60 yards at the furthest when you take a shot at an elk. Yeah. That's close.
Hey, so what do you do after you kill? How do you protect your meat when you're killed after that, man? Or just gotta do it fast, super fast. You're hauling everything.
Just gut it and then cut it up into pieces and carry it out. Sometimes it's too much for you. Then you got to go back, make multiple trips back and forth.
Man.
And hope no coyotes get your meat before you go back.
That sounds like
There's
a
a
team.
Bear.
Or a bear, something. Mountain lion, cougars.
Dang, man. That's crazy.
But it's good to go with people so they can help you carry it out.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, hunting season, man. I want to go. I'll go with you. Let me know.
August 15th is opening
Expert
day.
level stalker right there.
Oh man, the expert level is the one who we all of us learned our stalking skills is the ninja ski mask guy that went to Arizona and harassed our lives. That's the guy. That's the guy we need to get on here. Explain his strategy and theories.
Hopefully we get enough content because we're gonna have to edit out like most of this podcast.
like I said earlier, dude, we have the archive files.
It's gonna be in the archives.
Right.
Oh yeah.
This whole podcast might make it to the archives.
It's gonna be an archive.
Man, dude, it's so funny. I told Joe, because Joe said he told us before when was it? When did he tell us he wasn't going to make it this podcast because he was working? But we said, hey man, shots can be fired. You won't be able to defend yourself. We are going to fire you on this podcast. Oh man. Yep. No holds barred.
No, much love to Joe. I see he's doing his thing. Good to it's good to see everybody kind of grow within this podcast too. And I think I told you before, when you were first starting the podcast, and I'm kind of out here by myself, and I definitely miss you guys a ton. And so the podcast is a way. I almost felt like of each other and being able to a little bit, because I'll be when I listen to your podcast, it usually was after work, and I was doing some cardio at the gym, and so I'd be doing my cardio or whatever, and I'd be laughing out loud. I know people would be looking at me, but I had my headphones in. I'd just be laughing so loud, the different things, topics, and you guys are great all together. But it's been good to see everybody kind of grow in the role, and I think it's awesome what you're doing. So I absolutely love it, and I love all your podcasts too. So it's all the episodes have been.
Oh man, I appreciate it, Jake.
And it's nice. Well, definitely well deserved. And it's nice. I feel like I've known almost all the people that you've had on. I've actually had a chance to meet before too. So it's been pretty awesome. Having that, you feel more connected to the podcast when you've had a chance to meet them and talk to them before. And some that I haven't, that I've learned a lot from too. But your guest list has been pretty impressive, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit.
Oh man, thank you, brother. Yeah, we're trying, man. We're trying. We're just, could we all kind of, we started from our text group, right? We literally started from a text group. It was when, how did that go, Tech? We started
last year.
I know, but that text group, we started with Paul. It was when we lived in New York. Jake, remember you came and visited me and Tech when we lived in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it kind of started then. Would you say, Tech, that our little text group with Paul and Coach and Joe?
Yeah. It started with me, you, Paul, because when we were going to go out and visit him.
Yeah.
And then slowly it just grew from there. Then Joe and Coach came in. And the next thing you know, we started this podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, we shared like in our little group text.
That's where our connection. When you got
Jake, you still there, brother? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear Notis's house.
I need to mute my mic, man. Dude, all my cousins and stuff are over here celebrating Drew's birthday. But
Can you guys hear me?
yeah, we can hear you now. Your connection's kind of it was kind of cutting out.
Okay. So I was gonna say that's where I think we first started making the connections. Although I had met, you had Rachel Niu on the show, and yeah, I had met her out in Arizona. And, you know, she was there in the beginning stages of her modeling career. You know, is where you guys were out there at that same time, and we were able to link up a few times and see that. So yeah, New York was, man, that was just the dynamic. First of all, to like have you guys there, and I would just so happen that I was working back home in Boston, so I'd come, you know, on the weekends after work, I'd shoot down and come spend a night or two. So, but that was, you know, I had never lived in New York, so experiencing you guys living there, you know, that's a whole nother world over there. It's just different. You guys missed
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, man, I miss it all the time. But you know, now that I work for part-time for Alaska Airlines, I've been there a couple of times for work gigs and stuff. So, like going back, you know, it helps me not miss it as much.
I just remember walking down that hallway.
The submarine apartment.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's super choppy though right now.
What's up, Jake? Man, what's
My
up?
internet looks good. Can you guys got? What's up, Will? Can you guys hear me again
Yeah.
or no?
Yeah, we got you now.
We got you.
Okay.
I remember we even made a trip down to Boston to
Yeah,
you,
I
right?
remember walking down that hallway, that little narrow hallway to the kitchen. Yeah, met my parents.
Yeah, good people, man. Your parents are good people. Good people, man. That was dope.
Yeah.
They still talk about that time that you guys came up.
Yeah, Tech and I took the train from New York City up to Boston. That was an experience, taking that train up there. And then you picked us up from the train station, right? Was it?
Yeah, because you came in and then, yeah, the train station was, yeah, I mean, my memory's failing me here, but
Dude, I don't even remember.
it's been a while. I remember you guys slept in the downstairs part of my house. You know, my parents still have that house too. They're still there.
Oh, what? Nice. Dude, I didn't know how much of a diehard fan you guys were because you guys live like right behind the stadium.
Yeah, less than 5 minutes away.
I remember that part being so vivid to me, how close you lived to the Patriots
Gillette.
stadium. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So in the old stadium, so they, you know, in about 2000, they tore down the old stadium and built a new one. Yeah, so we'd be able to hear, you know, if they made a big play or scored a touchdown, we'd be hearing them screaming, you know, all the way from, you know, you just had to be outside my house in the lawn, you know, you could hear it. And so, of course, I grew up a huge fan. All things paid, still, you know, biggest fan there. Although, you know, I'm able to not as hard teams now, and you know, of course, Paul making it into the league and everything, was able to be a fan of his. Die-hard fan for the longest, and still, I don't know how to feel now with over in Gronk over there. So I'm like, kind of feel obligated to be a fan of them too.
So you're pretty close to Tampa, aren't you?
You guys got Tom on your fantasy this year?
No.
Right now, I don't know. I think it's well, we've got to go South Carolina, part of Georgia, and then Florida to get there. So it probably would be, I would imagine, 8 to 10 hours, something like that. But you know, considering not that far, you know, that's not so far.
Yeah.
They come up. I'm about 4 hours from Charlotte. And so if they come play the Panthers, that's where the Panther Stadium is. So I might go catch a game over there. If they come up to Charlotte.
You're gonna be wearing a Patriots jersey,
What were you
or
out here for? Yeah, I'll wear a Patriots jersey for sure. Tech, why were you out here? And weren't you out here a couple years back? What brought you out here? You have family out here, or what were you out here for work?
just out there visiting, checking that out over there, because I hear it's pretty cheap out there to live.
In Charlotte?
Just in North Carolina.
It's considering that it's got like coastal property and everything, it's not.
I think more
like
inland.
New York or Massachusetts or anything north. Yeah, inland is. I mean, even where I live now, it's bad. It's gone past 2 years. So last year was really the time to buy, but yeah, it's very affordable considering where the location is and there and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'd say like average home, if you want to get a decent home, you could spend $200,000 and get a here, which up north there's no way. There's no way in Boston. So,
oh dang.
yeah.
Close to the beach too for 200,000.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, you could get 10 minutes away and spend 200,000, get a decent house. Probably around 1,200 square. It'll give you nothing too big, but you could get a 3-bedroom for about 200,000.
That's not bad.
Oh,
Dang,
the housing market is good. It was about 50,000 cheaper years ago, but when you compare to to California and New York and Massachusetts, it's a lot of people move down from all those places. They move here because of the price of the housing is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett lived out there for some time.
He did?
Yeah, or South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina.
Yeah, he said he moved back to Vegas from South Carolina, but he sold his house over there. Man, he was telling me he was hella sad because it was a nice house, cheap, made, he loved that area, man. East Coast, a lot greener than West Coast.
Green. I hear the beaches are nice too in that area.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys have probably all heard of Myrtle Beach, right? So and everybody kind of knows that as like a destination. But I feel like our beaches here look way better. They're cleaner. The water looks better up here. You can get some different blues, but I feel like they definitely take care of them better up here. So I've been to Myrtle a few times. I much prefer going to the beach here over Myrtle. So, but yeah, it's like a kind of a secret, although, the beaches are packed when it's good weather and especially on the weekends. But, the prices have not reflected. If you're going to buy a house like right on the ocean, you're still going to be spending quite a bit of money there. So those are $1 million right on the water. But yeah, you can be 10 minutes away for a decent price. So nice and easy. From where I am, I'm still renting an apartment, but from where I am, it's just easy to get, down to the beach and, little small towns. Really 3 beaches that are nice to go. We have something called Carolina Overnight. So that's kind of fun. It brings a little bit. It's a little bit more rednecky down that way. But you can do a little bonfire on the beach. You can cook some food overnight as long as you clean up everything and bring it out. But yeah, it's drive on only on that in the Carolina Beach part of it. There is stretches where you can walk on to a different part of that beach. And then we got Wrightsville Beach, which is about 10 minutes from me. And then we got another beach north of me called Topsail Beach, and that is maybe about an hour away. That one has the craziest looking blue water. So that one's, and the beaches are a little nicer up there, but it's kind of middle where it's about an hour north where there isn't a whole lot of people living. but I definitely don't go as much as I should now that I'm kind of taking it for granted. I've been here for about 8 years. So my first few years, I was there all the time. Now, I'm used to it. So I guess I don't go as much.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were there. You've been in North Carolina that long.
Crazy. Since 2012, I think, I was living in Arizona. And then I came over here 2012 and been here ever since.
That's what's up. So are there any beaches that those beaches that Tech likes to go to?
What kind of beaches are those? What kind of beaches?
I'm gonna let Tech answer this one for himself.
I can't say the beaches where he can shoot his bow and arrow. Did you guys train today?
No, we trained yesterday.
Man, dude, those kids look ruthless, bro.
Yeah, they're getting better. Post, quarantine, they've just been tired of just been sitting in the house all day doing nothing. And so it's just nice to go against somebody they don't know.
Man, that's huge. Man,
I'll be in Idaho tomorrow.
To do the Idaho version?
Yeah, Alpha Idaho will be tomorrow, every Monday and every Tuesday for the month of June.
Dang. At that gym?
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's a great partnership, man.
It's getting there. It's fun. It'll be good for the kids, bro, for the Idaho kids.
Slowly but surely, dude, that Alpha's gonna be a powerhouse, dude. The way I see it, looking at it right now.
I hope so, Topo.
Oh, it will. You're consistent, man.
I gotta get my content. I gotta get my content up,
Man, dude, it's tough, brother. It's tough, but you can do it.
Yeah.
What phase are you guys in Utah right now? What phase are you in?
Yeah, we're right before green, so everybody's yellow right now. But some people's been practicing as a team, so we finally get to practice together as a team tomorrow morning, 7:30.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be fun to see all the kids out there.
Do they have to wear masks?
Yeah, they're required to wear a mask and to fill out a bunch of paperwork just in case.
You think you guys are going to have a season this year?
I'm optimistic about it, yeah. I hope so.
Man.
That's been a coach's life for so long. And so for something like that to just totally just get shut down, it's like, it's just, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I guess we'll find out, if we're ever going to have a season anywhere,
Man, dude, I can't believe the NBA is only going to have 22 teams come back.
It's crazy.
And then I was reading that thing. It says their season's going to end in October or something and then pick back up.
Wow.
Only reason why I'm concerned is because of these 10 cards.
Personal. It's all
personal.
For
real. Because, man, their values will go down. But it's nice to see the game too.
The game too.
But yeah, primarily for me is the investment part. Oh my gosh.
You've been buying those cards too, man?
Yeah, man. Ever since we had Dong on last year, we've all been kind of doing cards. And that's actually why Tech and I are going to Texas this Thursday coming up, is to go get all the cars that we bought.
I have some old cards from like the 90s, like the Upper Deck and Skybox ones, like Jordan and Magic Johnson and all those ones. I was looking up. I think they're very common still, so they're not worth a ton. But yeah, I got my old collection because I used to collect like crazy. Spent all my money on it when I was a youngster.
No,
So
crazy.
I still got them.
Oh, that's what's up. You should check the volume on eBay.
So okay, eBay is where you check. There's not a. I used to look on the Beckett's. I don't know if they have them anymore.
Oh yeah.
They still have the Beckett's. Okay.
Yeah, Tech. Shoot, ever since that podcast, Tech was stayed consistently with collecting the cards, and one day he was like, "Hey, man," talking about it, and I was like, "How much you made?" He showed me. I was like, "Holy cow!" I was like, "Dang, yeah." Which is funny is I can't.
It's a great side hustle, huh? And it's fun at the same time. At least you'll know who every player is when you're watching it. You'll be like, come on, man, score some points.
Seriously. Siakam, I hope he does well. I got a couple of his cards.
He's good.
Yeah, man.
I like him.
But yeah, Tech stay consistent with it.
Yeah, I hope the whole Minnesota Timberwolves go to a championship because I'll be rich.
Yeah, Coach and I were saying go ahead.
Does the success of the team drive up the prices like crazy on those cards? Is it really like that instant?
I don't know, honestly, but I think it's more.
It depends on the individual player.
Yeah.
So if he balls out, he could have a great year this year and his cards will go up. Then next year he'll get injured and not even play, and then his cards will go down.
Like I was saying, I was telling Notis, I got my collection from like the early 90s, the Upper Deck NBA players. So I got Jordan, like really 91, 92, 93. I collected a lot. So I have them in like those little. I used to follow the Beckett's and everything. I even have baseball cards and football cards too. But I was, at that time MJ was king. So of course I was the biggest Michael Jordan fan. At that point, I don't know if you guys got a chance to talk about the Last Dance in any of your podcasts, but that kind of brought me back all the way to my childhood, watching him, go through all those championships, and he's the greatest. There is no doubt. It just was all kind of refreshed in my mind watching that show.
Yeah, man. The whole LeBron debate, Jordan debate. I think that documentary killed it.
Over.
Seriously.
I mean, I didn't think it was a debate to begin with, because I mean, I think LeBron's awesome too. There's no doubt there. I just think he's always been the greatest, will always be the greatest. Everyone's trying to do what he did. So I think he's obviously the bar. And I think maybe Kobe came the closest to it. But now we found out through the episodes that Kobe looked up to him as a big brother and a mentor. And Kobe was amazing to watch too. I do think these debates of like who's the greatest are somewhat detrimental too, because it's just we're lucky to be able to see them. They're amazing players. So the measuring stick to decide who is the greatest and who isn't, it's tough to decide for sure. But yeah, growing up seeing MJ, that was a whole nother. We're so lucky to have seen him. So
Absolutely.
did you watch the series?
I haven't watched it, all of it. I only watched the first episode.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. From what I watched, the first episode. Mm-hmm. I just never had time to watch the rest.
Yeah, I seen.
What about you, Will?
Nah, man, I haven't watched nothing yet. I'm not when I was growing up, I wasn't really a Jordan fan. You know, I just he used to whoop on the Lakers all the time, so I didn't really like him at all. You know, I was more of a Magic Johnson fan. You know, about Magic and just that was just my style of play. I think I relate more to Magic passing the ball versus taking all the shots. You know, and winning all the championships when the Lakers was just winning nothing. So maybe it was just more greedy than more mad, more pissed off that he was winning everything. Man, he won everything, bro. Everything. No one had a championship. He made sure when Jordan was playing, he won all the championships.
Dang.
I think that's an argument, you know.
Well, seeing it definitely made me respect Kobe more watching The Last Dance, because just seeing you just have to see the parallels there between those two. You know, it's almost like 1A, 1B. You know, they're so alike in a lot of things, and to know that they were friends almost elevated that too. Friends, brothers. You know, I was able to see, you know, MJ's comments at the funeral, and, you know, it kind of just refreshed, you know, again, how much they both meant to each other, and, you know, and seeing them. But yeah, it gave me even like a better respect for Kobe. And of course, you know, I'm an MJ fan first. That's what I grew up loving. Then I grew up in Boston. So of course we had the Celtics. So, you know, Kobe was definitely the dagger in destroying our hopes every year. You know, especially when we had those good years when we had Ray Allen and Garnett and
Pierce.
You know, and Pierce.
You know what I remember about that whole time was the Chicago Bulls starter jackets. I remember those things flew off the shelf, man. The Chicago Bulls starter jackets. That was my middle school years when I was watching that.
The pullovers
Yeah, the pullovers.
with the zipper on the side.
Yes. That is the one. How do you know about that, Tech?
Used to have one, man.
Did you have a Chicago Bulls one too?
No.
I had Orlando Magic.
Yo, that's right. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah. Yep.
I had two. I had a Georgetown Hoyas one and a Miami Hurricane one.
Okay.
Because the Chicago Bulls one was too expensive. I couldn't afford it.
Man, but
So
they had
so my yate money could only take the Hurricanes. So I could afford at the swap meet, man.
Dang. Man, the swap meets, man. And they had those the fake ones too. But man, after a while the stuff started peeling off. The Bulls head would start to peel off. I didn't never have one, but my friends did, man.
I know they look so good though. Those starter jackets, man. Everybody had them. I didn't have them either, but
Yeah. Hey, so being a huge Patriots fan, Jake, I mean, you're the only, like, every time with the Patriots would go to the Super Bowl, our text group, you know, if they lost or something, or if they won, in our text group, we would literally say, "Hey, did anyone check on Jake?" Like every time, man. Every time they'd be playing, and if they lost the game. Like when was the last year they lost? They lost some time ago, and everyone in our test group was like, "Hey, someone check on Jake." So funny, man. But you know, now that Tom Brady's at Tampa Bay, what are you saying about him, man? Are you going to be supporting him, being a fan, or what are your thoughts?
so still trying to process, you know, because I think it was obviously we didn't get a chance to see really what was going on in his mind and behind the scenes, because he's kind of more he keeps that kind of stuff close to his chest. He wasn't a complainer, so he didn't, you know, whatever things. And I don't know necessarily if it was that drove him out, you know, or his relationship with Bill, or just wanting a change, you know. But he gave us 20 years, so I don't think it was right for me to complain That guy has given us everything. As fans, where we, coming from the 90s where we were not a good franchise, we made it to the Super Bowl and lost in the 90s, but we mostly had losing seasons, to turn us into what we had with, 6 championships. And, we were in it almost every year. So I definitely can't complain. I'd say Gronk is probably my favorite player of all time. I just love that guy's attitude and what he brought to us. He kind of made the Patriots less, everybody was hating us for a while there, and he made it fun. He made football fun. He made our team a little bit more fun because, it was easy to hate us for a number of reasons, for our success and for some other things that, as you guys pointed out, the deflated footballs, some other things. So, but I'm still going to support him. I'm not going to wear a Tampa Bay jersey, but I still got to support him. It's not like a ugly divorce, because you want the best for him considering what he gave us. And I'm happy for him and Gronk being over there. And as long as they're happy, new beginnings for us. There was, talk of him declining 10 years ago, and he gave us another 10 years. So I can't complain. Wish him the best success over there. I'm definitely gonna be watching the Tampa games. I'm rooting for him for sure. Probably make a mistake and pick him up in fantasy again, but he's won me some leagues over the years quite a bit. But it kind of still figuring out how I feel about everything. But mostly I kind of support I support his decision to move on, and of course I feel bad that he left. Would have liked him to be a Patriot all the way to the end. But in this type of business, it's not usually something that you get to see. So at this point, just kind of grateful for the time we had, and wishing him the best as he moves on.
Nice, man. Did you write him a letter? Oh, man.
Only 60 of them.
Sheesh, dude. Yeah, man.
No.
That's funny, man. Yep.
What's your thoughts?
Shoot, it's just funny that how Gronk came out of retirement or whatever, so-called retirement, and he left the Patriots. But
he loves Tom.
Dude, that's his quarterback. That's what he says, right? He says that all the time. But yeah, it should be fun to watch. Should be fun to watch. He has some weapons over there.
Yeah, the funniest part about Gronk is like when he decided to retire, he was like, I'm sick. I think I have head problems. I have a few concussions. We'd like to welcome Gronk to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All of a sudden, no more symptoms. It's all gone.
His head problems were from the coach, I think. The mental.
Yeah. Bill's different, man. Just the way he is and the way he runs his program is far superior than any other program in NFL. And I hate him for that.
Let me ask you this. Who do you think was more valuable to the championships, Tom or Bill?
Hands down, Tom. Hands down. That's what I think. I think it's the players.
Probably say Bill.
That's a tough question. But my first reaction is Tom because of his ability, what he adds, the value that he brings at the most important position in the game of football. Well, one of the most. But, yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, I pose the question, would Nick Saban be as successful as he is without the players that he's been able to recruit? You think?
Right.
That's the same type of question, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know.
I think with Bill, maybe I'm biased because I'm a ball coach now, so like I see the game differently. But the thing that separates him from everybody else in the NFL is he has the ability to put pieces. His game is like in a box, right? And so anybody he brings in has to fit that mold in that box. And he just doesn't bring just like the superstars. He can bring in just guys who has the tools and be able to fit them within his scheme and within his program and make them superstars, you know, within the program, not necessarily superstars in the NFL where they make all these plays, but the pieces that he has the ability to do to create championship teams. And that's just me. I think Bill Belichick is a whole different person when it comes to understanding the game with players. But I think there's merit to both sides. All right. My man Jake. I land in Rexburg. My mom sends me to Rexburg a lot. And hold on, like my mom sends me to Rexburg to take me out the city so I don't get in trouble. And so she sends me over to Rexburg, and I didn't know that there's some other trouble in Rexburg too. As soon as I land, as soon as I get there, I had my cousin Ossie up. What's up? What's good? I spend more time with Ossie than I do when I go visit my brother up there in Rexburg. And as soon as I come to the house, it's like, we're leaving. Where are we going? I just got here. So I drop my bag and we hop in the green machine, all right? Get in that green machine and it has those tires. Man, it felt like I was on a railroad track. It was just bumpy the whole time. I was like, where are we going? Hey, just relax in the back. We drive all the way back to Salt Lake City.
What?
That's like a 3-hour drive, right? We drive all the way back to Salt Lake City. We grab some bags, and we drive all the way back to Salt Lake to Rexburg. 3 hours there, pick up, 3 hours back, bro. I'm like, what are we doing with our lives? And I think that was just a regular deal, man. Jake, we need some more bags. Let's go. We get there and we go pick up and we come back because there's nobody else, right? Or we find somebody who's coming up that can give us some medicine. But that was like my first interaction with you, bro. Is you're at the driver's seat and I'm on the train and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that Jeep was not comfortable.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
What?
And we'd be mixing on the way back. We'd be mixing on the way back up too. That those bumpy tires couldn't have been helping, man. I know every 45 minutes or so, Jake, pull over.
Yo, y'all drove that far to get some bags, huh?
That was the normal, though. You know, it's how it was. I didn't know any different. You know, that's just how we did it. You know, it's before Amazon could ship us, something like that. So we did what we had to do. That was the fastest way for us to.
But everybody was waiting, though. It's not like we can't just go there and just hang out and stay the night. No, everybody in Rexburg was waiting for us.
So, you guys, guess who had to go buy the bags most of the time so that none of the boys would get trapped? Because so they would send me in, because they probably wouldn't invite me in to mix. So they send me into these houses like late at night. Sometimes it'd be like 1 a.m. we'd be getting there and I'm like, what am I? I'm not used to buying bags or walking up to the house. They'd be like, yeah, just walk up through, over there to the back. They don't really have good directions for me to go. So I'm just going in and, and having to ask to buy bags so that so that you or I see or none of them would get invited in to mix. And they'd still actually invite me in too. But, I declined and we'd get the bags and take off. But I remember a lot of the times they would send me to buy the bags.
Send in the secret weapon.
For real. That was strategic.
Right.
That was straight up strategic, man.
Yeah.
But I just remember going to Rexburg, man, and there was like literally shifts of, people coming in and out, man. You guys ran it like clockwork over there, dude. That's why it was like so professionally well run. It was like an operation. How you guys did your mixes, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
one would leave,
I
and then
got
the store clerk would come in.
Got a confession though. It wasn't always like that. We were always trying, whenever we had guests in town, we were always trying to make it, a little bit more exciting for our guests. So make sure that you guys had a good time and have fun.
Y'all should have been recruiters, man. For real. Well, actually, you guys were recruiters because you came to Arizona and you recruited all of us. Oh my gosh, dude! But isn't that crazy? What's going on up there? That we were knocking in those areas, right? For more or less where everything is happening.
I mean, for sure, and we knocked in a bunch of different areas, but yeah, where a lot of this stuff, this current stuff is happening, and we went through some of the poor areas as well, and where you could definitely feel and see some of the racial divide, that was there, and it's about time, of course, for kind of bringing all that up to the current. It's about time we've had some change where people educate themselves, where we come together. We come together and we become better, so it's, coming from, if we're speaking to kind of the situations that, that's going on right now where, we have police brutality specifically on, against Black people and people of color, it's 2020. We need to be better than that. We should be better by now. We should be above this racism. We have so many tools to educate ourselves. It almost caught me off guard, and it kind of surprised me because thankfully I have, I've got friends like you. I have Black friends. I have, I grew up in Boston where we have a, diverse culture as far as different people from different backgrounds. And, so I just never, although I saw it happen to you guys, I saw some racism here or there, especially in Idaho. And, I've seen little hints of things here or there, but in general, since I didn't believe it, it's almost like it wasn't all the way real. And I feel betrayed by some of my fellow Americans that they haven't caught up. They haven't, because now, I don't, when I, I think color and diversity is a beautiful thing, and it brings color to our lives, having these differences. But at the same time, the color that we see doesn't necessarily determine who they are or the way that they act. If someone's rude to me, they're rude to me. It's not that they're a color and they're rude to me, it's that they're rude to me. If someone's awesome to me, they're awesome to me. And that's kind of the lens that I've been seeing through. But that, unfortunately, is not where we are yet, as a country. And, again, saying that, I felt like people let me down, that we haven't got there before. But then it also reminds me, okay, there's more I can do. There's more that we all can do to bring everyone together. Again, we should be better than we are now. And if it takes what we've gone through to change things for the better, then so be it. It was emotional, especially the past couple of weeks, and I'm sure for you guys too. And I've seen some amazing posts from people, and I see how Polynesia and Tongans and Samoans are standing for Black Lives Matter, and it's really awesome to stand together, no matter what our color is, and support each other. And we definitely need that positive change. I just wish, it didn't take all this. It didn't take destruction to bring to pass things, for things to improve. It was very emotional too, for me. And again, probably for you guys too, but I almost couldn't even bear it for a few days there, how much pain everyone was feeling. And I was feeling that pain, but I didn't want to mask myself from it either, because, if that's what people are feeling, I can't just hide from it. It's something we have to attack head on. I have some things in the works, hopefully, spark some conversations with some of my friends, some different things that we can kind of expand out there. We definitely need to increase our knowledge with voting, especially with the younger generation, and learning about the people that were voting. And, there's some big points made out there where voting at the local level is way more important than at the, at the big level. The president doesn't have as much power as everybody would like it to believe. And, your local, your local judges and district attorneys, and, pointing your voice there where you can end racism at the local level. I think that's where we can get started with making these changes. And, wish we were already past this, but sometimes we have to suffer. I think suffer is godly in the sense that it reminds us what, our Savior sacrificed for us. He suffered more than all so that we can understand what it takes to feel happiness and joy. And that contrast, is godly, that we can understand the difference and move towards happiness together, as one people. But I'm sure you guys have some opinions on that as well, and how you felt. And I'm not sure if you felt similar at all.
Yeah, I was kind of taken back, but it was just, it's still hard to believe, man, that we're still, we're facing these things right now. But yeah, it's definitely something that I think if we were to develop more empathy, have that conversation with more empathy, just all across the board, it'd solve a lot of problems, fix a lot of problems too, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's key, because empathy, I think, to me, is putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Trying to act like you live their life. It's an impossible task, but if you try, you're not defined by a vote. You're not defined by a color. You're not defined by a job. Everyone's upbringing and their life is different than yours. But if you could attempt to walk in their shoes or see life through their eyes and their experiences and listen, that's big, in trying to come together instead of dividing each other. Even our current system where, left or right, blue or red, is all designed to divide. So, I kind of leaned one way or the other, most of my years. And as I've gotten older and, I'm able to try and step back and realize people come from different walks of life. I've tried to be more understanding and willing to listen to where people are coming from and formulate my opinions, and also be willing to change, my view, because I think there's something backwards that we have about our politicians. If they've ever changed, what you can't improve, you can't change your view with new knowledge. I think going through life, one of the big things we need to do is improve. And, as we take in more knowledge, we can see things from a different point of view, and be better than we were. I think it's a journey that we're on where we can, be better, be less judgmental, be, more loving. Kind of starts with that, right there is just, one of the biggest things that has drawn me to Polynesian people is the love that you show a complete stranger, which is not in every culture. Certainly we're not taught it, but you guys just inherently have it, So when I say not taught it, like on my side of things, coming from not a strong culture, my parents taught me to love others, but you're not taught it in school. You're not taught it in the university. But, pretty much every time that, I was able to meet, and it's one of the reasons I love the culture and loved it from the get-go, is the open, big hearts that you have, where you accept someone, without even knowing them. And that is an amazing, amazing trait that you have, and that, that so strong in your culture as well. Where do you think that comes from?
It's definitely part of our culture. When you grow up, everybody's uncle and everybody's auntie. I don't know too many other, cultures that call complete strangers uncle and auntie, but that's just how you grow up. You might not even be related. You're just friends, but as a little kid, that's your uncle, that's your auntie, and you respect them. You do exactly what they say without complaining. And just that process of growing up and listening and being obedient, I think it just kind of trickles down to your life too. And that's how you treat everybody. When you see strangers, they're automatically your brother. automatically your sister. That's just how we've been raised. And, you know, then, and all of a sudden we meet people, you know, like yourself in the power of that circle. You know, if it wasn't for that circle, I don't think we'd ever be on this podcast together. Right?
Seriously, man.
Right.
It's that circle.
Right.
It always comes back to the circle. The circle of life, or the circle of just stories and great memories that I wish we can go back and redo it again, huh? Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Reals, man. Yeah, it's deep. And, you know, Jake hinted on it earlier. He said this earlier. Can you explain that again, Jake? What you were talking about earlier about the circle? There's not very many places in society where a group of men, you know, can come around and sit and converse with each other.
Right. So we're taught as men, I think it's especially like our age group around us, right? We were taught, be manly, don't show emotion, be tough. You know, and these are all things that can be used for good, right? Because if we were crying on the corner every time we came up against, you know, a trial or a tribulation, you know, we would be no good. But there's not many places where, especially on my side of things, you know, from the Palangi side, where you can have a heart to heart, you know, with someone where you can really get to know. I think that's why our friendship has lasted over these years versus other ones have fallen away, is we, you know, through spending the hours in the circle, you know, and of course that you know, you're welcomed, but you spend all night with somebody and you hear their stories, and you guys, you know, most of the things that I've said you probably already knew about me, because those are experiences that we've shared, you know, or we've talked about before. But, you know, being able to tell that story, and then, you know, you guys were there for a lot of, you know, my personal losses that I had, and, you know, we were able to talk to each other through that. And I think, you know, that's one beautiful thing about the circle, is that we're able to share those feelings and what we're going through and be vulnerable in the right time. You know, we would call those the heart-to-heart mixes, but, you know, we'd have those, you know, and we were definitely there for each other. And, you know, I'm probably doing a poor job of explaining it, but something can be said for, you know, doing what we do around the circle and trusting each other, and, you know, drinking kava till the wee hours of the morning, but having each other's back no matter the scenario, you know. And it makes a connection that is unbreakable. It's like, you know, I haven't seen, how long has it been since me and you know, seen face to face, or, you know, we've talked or text here or there, but it's like almost no time went by. You know, when I see Will's face, and it just makes me happy when I see you guys. But it's, you know, that connection that we have, that bond it's impossible to break. You know, I see Tech, you know, hopefully I see Paul tonight, or if Joe makes it on, you know, it's just, those bonds are unbreakable that we've made, you know, due to this, you know, silly little thing we do in the circle. You know, we drink kava and tell stories and talk about our lives, and there's just
explain your
nothing
life.
else like it.
You know what? You know, there's all this chaos that happens in our individual lives, right? Everybody has their own problems, their own issues that they're encountering in their personal lives. But when we come together in that circle, and that first song comes on, Just One Night, I know it's going to be a good night. As soon as we hear Just One Night, I know tonight is going to be a fantastic night, guys. Who cares who comes through that door? You know what I'm saying? We all laugh because we all know. You know what I'm saying? That is the beginning of a long, treacherous night, man. Everybody just explaining their lives and clowning on each other and trying to create some really strong bonds and memories, man. And I wish, all the time we talk about it, I wish we can go back and do it again. It was so much fun. We created a lot of great, you know, memories, laughters, and You know, there's a lot of times where we were sad and heart to hearts, like you said, but man, great times, bro. Hey, what's up? You got the second verse? Okay, I got the second verse. Let's go. You know what I mean? From just one night to textual harassment to nicknames to, you know what I'm saying?
Man, dude. Yeah, and everyone would, there's so different perspectives on it. Some were positive, some were negative, but see, majority of it was all positive. Look at this. We got a podcast out of it. Oh, man.
Oh, he for life.
He for life, dude. Yeah, have you kept in touch with Aussie or Fenny or anyone like that? Anybody?
Fenny, you will usually on my birthday. On my birthday, on Father's Day, he wishes me a happy Father's Day. He's done that ever since we were in college together. Even though I have no kids, but apparently he thinks I do. But so that's all I hear from. That's all I hear from Fenny. But yeah, Aussie I keep up with. I probably talk to Make the most. You know, he's still in Arizona, and his kids are about done. Sione, his firstborn, is about done with high school now.
Wow.
So it's it's wild. Time flies. I remember he was there. You guys remember he's running around in his diapers at the mix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy to see how time flies. But and then I feel like I've been keeping up with you guys through the podcast, although we haven't talked as much as I like. But it's good to hear from you guys that way. But that's probably the those ones. Yeah, I see Make. Just social media now is kind of the where you can kind of keep up a little bit here or there. So kind of just been so focused on my grind over here, trying to be successful in what I'm doing, and the job that I just got, thankfully, that we talked about earlier. That's a culmination of my efforts for the past 8 years. So finally in a place where I have some measure of success, and that success is gonna give me the opportunity to come see you guys a little bit more now. So then a little bit more than having 10 years in between our visits.
Yeah, man.
I think when's the last time I seen you, Notis?
Man, New York.
2010? New York? Around 2010 then.
Wow, it's crazy.
I know it will even longer.
That was back in college, man. We used to come to the Sun Devil sessions. Fun time, man.
Mm-hmm. Get on my level.
Man.
Get on my level. Shout out to the Dixie Rebels. Shout out to the Sun Devils.
Man, seriously. Crazy, man.
Back in the days of Champagne Jackson.
Oh wow.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Anywhere else would have to put in the archives.
You already know.
Yeah, Jake, it's good to see you, man. It's good to hear from you. Get your perspective on things and just catch up, man. It's nice.
Yeah, definitely. It's been too long, man. We should do. I know some of the other. I've seen some other people doing some Skype mixes or Zoom mixes already, so we need to make it a little bit more often. So we don't necessarily have to do the podcast thing every time, but just to catch up, I think it's a good thing. I'm gonna tell you, keep with it, because the recipe for success, you guys have it. So it'll blow up if you keep with it. I know it will. So it's just, I can't, I'm laughing the whole time. If we can just get more people listening, it's been literally, it's been like, what's the words I'm looking for? It's been like medicine almost in my life. You know, we all go through tough times, but hearing all the positivity that you bring, and of course, me being able to know you guys personally brings another element to it. And then laughter, which you guys, you know, half the podcast, you guys are laughing and clowning, but that brings that, you know, that brings healing to everyone. It brings unity, and, you know, I love it. I'm all about that. So keep up the good work, man. We need to keep it up. So what you're doing is awesome.
Yeah, brother. Stay safe out there, man. We'll link up soon again, and thank you for coming on the show and talking with us and catching up, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and, you know, above all, glad to catch up with you guys and see you guys. It's been awesome.